Hey everyone, Chris here. I want to talk today about Wetiko, what it means and where it's from, all the sort of examples that you can see in the world today, why I like learning about it so much, and also my recent experience with Wetiko and what I believe it to be. So Wetiko is a Native American term which is used to sort of describe the mind virus of our soul, you could say. Everything that is evil and dark within ourselves or which is out there in the world, which we see, and we sort of always question, where is this coming from? And if we sort of understand that the solution to the problem is within us, and then we start to see Wetiko and know what it is, and it's just the name that we've given it to it. So Wetiko, I learned a lot from Paul Levy. He's wrote a few books on Wetiko, so I recommend checking them out. And Wetiko doesn't like to be seen. That's what I can say about Wetiko. It's a way you could probably explain how it plays out in the world. It's hidden in the shadows. So, a lot of people who believe that, people who currently run the world or are behind all of the corruption that happens, are hiding in the shadows. It's quite a well-known thing sometimes that a politician is a puppet and certain people are hidden behind certain billionaires who are out there and targets, and that's true, because it's imagining where are the really evil big Wetiko people, those people who just want people to suffer. And through my experience with psychedelics, for example, it just allows me to sort of see that if someone is in that much pain and that much suffering, they are likely to be, they want other people to feel that way as well. So they want to find a way to cleverly get people fighting, to get people to feel their pain. If they come flying at you and start being abusive, you could just walk away. But if you're at a party and you've got someone who's in that much pain, and they're always in that much pain, and there's 10 other people in the room, how do you get everyone to feel your pain? You can't just scream to them. You could cleverly manipulate other people to start and scheming to not like each other, and start fighting. And, you could look at this in the world at the moment, so the countries fighting, there's people who are left or they're right, who've got an opinion of this, an opinion of that. So Wetiko, feeds on the separation between people, individuals, strengthening their egos and their sense of self, because the more you become attached to the body and what you have in the world and everything that's sort of promoted and we're told gives us happiness, people are chasing that, but it's not really, it's a distraction from who we really are. So, but this feeds Wetiko, because Wetiko wants the energy, not necessarily wants the love, but it feeds off the energy of our life force energy. So people, and I'm sure you can all relate to that. So if we're suffering and we're losing our energy, every day we're working, we're unfulfilling our potential, Wetiko is feeding on that, is feasting on that. So it's important to understand that. And recent experience. So just to talk a bit about how this links in with psychedelics and how I got into Wetiko, is just because on these sort of trips, I got into the darkest, most brutal feeling vibration you could even imagine. And this is like what it means to be fully possessed in the darkness, and why people would carry out such, abuse and torture and all these horrific things. If you imagine this is like something that's been created, the complete opposite to who we really are. It's the complete opposite to love, to joy, to everything. We have to have the complete polar opposite, which is not love, is no joy at all. It's just pure, and you can't really explain it. It's a feeling, and you have to feel this. And if you feel this feeling and you really get into it and how horrible it is, that's how I feel like I've been a lot more compassionate over the years. And it doesn't matter if someone's a child abuser or whatever they do, they're a murderer, I could still have that compassion of, if I'm in that feeling, I know how they feel, and that is Wetiko, as it's called. I had a different word for it when I was on my experience, but then I started noticing other people saying this word Wetiko. So that allowed me to see what it really is and to feel it. And every time you become aware of it, it's always our blind spot. It's always something. If there's something being projected out there, if it's somebody else doing something and you're being triggered, that's the Wetiko in you. You know, Wetiko doesn't want to be seen. So when somebody says to you, oh, you just did this before and that, and then you ignore it and you try and avoid it, it's because the Wetiko doesn't want to be seen. It's like a mirror. You know, imagine the darkest evil looking into the mirror. It can't, you know, stand to see the sight of it. So that's why it hides in the shadows. That's why there is like a shadow government, and you know, you'll never really probably know who really runs the world, as much as people try to get to the bottom of it. That's kind of where I stop, because people say it's definitely this group or it's that group. I just don't think you can really, it's just too hard. You don't know if stuff's been put out there, research has been put out there to disguise you, you know. But I do think the more that this sort of stuff is exposed, the more we expose it, the more we understand it in ourselves. And you know, we don't have to, we can hold a mirror to people, you know, we can hold space, you know, to point out Wetiko in someone. If someone's doing something, they don't like that, because like I said, Wetiko does not want to be seen. Unless you have a really strong stillness and self-awareness in you, you can start to work through it. But it's hard because the ego starts to take over and you know, needs to be dissolved. So this is like an ongoing work, but I found this so interesting. And you know, what's fueling Wetiko is the amount of energy we're giving to it. And I think that things like artificial intelligence and all of this sort of stuff is, you know, our energy is being taken away. And I think that's why this is a really important part of existing now. What I seen on this recent sort of trip I did, I mean, I don't normally do these kind of trips, but this is like a psilocybin microdose, or maybe a bit more than that. But basically what I seen is that we are looking out into nature, you know, we are around nature, all that is beautiful, and we're kind of being taken to this, not like hellhole, but yeah, our energy is being focused elsewhere. So we're looking into the screens, we're watching, you know, these TV and all this sort of stuff, and there's all of this beauty behind us, and we're kind of ignoring it. And if people are watching internet porn, or they're eating junk food and they're doing all this stuff, it's the TV and stuff which is kind of sucking their energy in, and they're falling into these bad habits, and they have that kind of Wetiko which is taking over people, you know. So it's important. And that's not to say that screens and technology is bad. It's not. You can stay in contact with people, you can contact people in the end of the world, but if you start to get your needs met from it, that's where it can start to fade. Because I think we know that getting likes and stuff on Facebook and getting your validation from there is probably not the same as actually being around loving people who understand you on a deep level. So this analogy of being out in the forest and, you know, nature, and you're around amazing people who love you exactly who you are, you know, Wetiko free, that would be complete fulfillment. But instead we're kind of we're getting taken over by the whole technology. And I think that's what I seen of being quite a danger, that the more we're sort of getting hooked on this technology, everyone's looking at their phone, it can be quite disturbing to know that that's potentially where we're going. But yeah, and I think I seen as well, just I think a lot of this stuff that goes on in the world, I mean, this whole, what I seen with the whole like Russell Brand fiasco that's happened recently, and other sort of politics, is it is just kind of it's just constantly something on repeat to distract you. And so you give your energy and your time. And I sort of seen that a lot of these, celebrities and these people, they're all kind of, you know, one of my friends once wanted to work on TV, in fact, a couple of people, and they said they couldn't ever be a celebrity or get into television, really into television, because on a level you have to sell your soul. And that's because in doing that, they were doing certain stuff where they're like, this is just quite immoral. And maybe some people find this when they climb to the top of a company, you know, in a bank or whatever. They keep going up, and then they're just like, I just can't do this anymore because it's too immoral. And I think the more you're conscious and you wake up and you become aware of Wetiko, because Wetiko is that, it's greed. It wants, you know, you want more money, you want to climb your way up, and you can make your money ethically. But I think the system, to understand that it is a Wetiko system, and the more we start to understand that, the more we can break free and we can create something different. You know, I went to Medicine Festival in the UK earlier this month, a couple of months ago, and it was great to see a lot of conscious people, just eating healthy organic food, working on themselves, dancing together, conscious conversations, being vulnerable, talking about the problems, about our rights and all these sort of things. And it's just great that there's thousands of people wanting to do that. I think COVID has really changed everything, and I think COVID was the real virus was Wetiko, and it's Wetiko. People focus on the physical side of things, but it was all about everything else with Wetiko. Wetiko was being exposed, whether it was the corruption, and so many people were looking into a lot of this, and every time so many people were waking up, including myself, to start to look into all these conspiracy theories and stuff, and you start to realize, you know, it's not all conspiracy theory, because you realize you sort of know the truth within yourself, and then you look at something, you think that's true, and it doesn't matter if someone's saying, oh, it's conspiracy theory, or, you know, what, you know, you're Googling for something and you can't find it because everything's being hidden. Again, Wetiko is taking over the, you know, Google algorithms, the YouTube is trying to censor everything because it doesn't want to be seen, doesn't want to be exposed, you know. And there's fear. I don't think everyone is exposing Wetiko exactly, but they get close, and then the fear creeps in, and yeah, I think the more people talk about certain things, the more people gradually start to wake up, because Wetiko wants to be in control. I think it wants to be loved, you know, but it will never really get love. And if anything, it takes our love from us, and then it just destroys it. That's kind of how I see it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I thought I'd just talk about it. I know it's a really good topic of mine. Sorry, I really like talking about this, so I'm not sure how it's going to go down, or if people know what I'm talking about or what the Wetiko is. But yeah, I hope to see you all soon, and take care.